Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. In the previous video we learned about the forms and different types of forms in Angular. In this video we will be talking about the template driven forms that are used in Angular and how they work. So the template driven forms are the forms that are used with simple forms like collecting the user data or the registering the user or logging in the user, like the simple information. To use the template driven forms, we will have to import the forms module from the Angular /forms. And now we will use the template driven forms to collect the user data like name, email, password, ID, or etc. So here we will take a form and here we will say a template reference variable, like we discussed about the template reference variables in our previous videos. So here we will say a form, like this is the name of the template reference variable for which we want the value, like we want the value of all the inputs using this form template reference variables. Like here we will say is equal to ngForm. ngForm will collect the information about this form. Now we will take 2 to 3 inputs, like here we will say input type is equal to text, name is equal to name, because this is the name that we want to have the name of the person. So now we will use ngModel to bind its value with the ngForm, like we want to tell Angular that its value should be saved with the form value. So we can use some styling also. Here we'll say input and we'll say margin left 10 px and margin top 10 px and width will be 500 px or 200 px, can be 3. So now here we will take another input tag and another. So here we will say type email, here we will say name is equal to email, because this will be a JSON object like email and its value, name and its value. So now here we'll say ngModel and take, like here we will say name, email, here we will say password, here we will say the name will be password, name, email, password. So these are enough. We will also take a button here to submit its value, like here we'll say first we'll break it, here we'll say type is equal to submit and we'll say submit, and let's style the button also. So here we'll say margin top 10 px, margin left 10 px and border radius 2 px or 5 px. Color will be blue, background color will be sky blue. Maybe we can say here like this can be blue or anything like that. Now we can say here the placeholder will be name. For this we will have a placeholder called email. For this we will say the password. So now we'll say the name, the email, the password. Now here we'll say John Doe. Email will be john@gmail.com and password can be john@12345. Now when we hit the submit button, it should be here inside the console. But before that we will have to use the method or the ngSubmit here and to submit the data of the form. And here we can create a method called save user data, and here we'll say user data. We will console it here to check whether it is working or not. We'll say user data. Here we will say inside the ngSubmit we will say save user data, and here we will give the value like here form.value. Now all the input values will be bind to this form.value. Now we will clear this and we can say here the John Doe john@gmail.com. Here we can say john@12345. So when we submit this, it should be here inside our console. So as you can see, this is the name, which is John Doe, email which is john@gmail.com, but the password is not here because we haven't used the ngModel. So here I'll say John Doe john@gmail.com and john@123. So when we submit this, all these values should be inside our console. So as you can see, this is the name John Doe, the email johndoe@gmail.com, and the password which is john@123. Now the name is coming from this name attribute. Like here we can say anything like name of person. So now when we submit this, john@gmail.com, and password we can say anything like this. So this is the name attribute coming from this name attribute. So this was to tell Angular that this will be the key for the value of the inputs, and this is necessary because it will not have a key if we don't provide it. So it will throw an error if ngModel is used within a form tag. Either the name attribute must be set or the form control must be defined as standalone in the ngModel option. So we use the name attribute to specify whether which is the key, which tells Angular that this will be the key and its value will be coming from this input tag. As it says, like this is the ngModel and name should be this, and or the second option is ngModel is equal to the template reference variable, and ngModel option is standalone true. Standalone means which is like it is completely different or it is separated from the form. So here we'll say name of the person, or here we can say name here. So this was a little bit about the template driven forms that give us access to the input values that we use inside our Angular application. In the next video, we will discuss about how to validate the user inputs when we submit the data. Like when we submit the data, we don't want something like, we can say we want the user to be all the names but not this name, or email which ends with this, like at gmail.com but not with outlook.com. Like this type of validations we will discuss about the template driven forms in our next video.